Okay, so we're going to continue with this Bitcoin breakout we've been following for the past week or so. Today's October 19th, Monday. Traditional markets are open and Bitcoin strong, up 2.2%. We did get stopped out around 11,840 on the Bitstamp chart. Kind of assume that because it's coming up close to the top of this parallel channel. I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see this channel. It's been holding within this range for quite a while, and this heart line has been pretty much resistance up until recently. The last couple days, you can see it's wicked down to this heart line a couple times, and as of last night, when the traditional market, well, when the Dow opened up, when the dollar and precious metals started moving, Bitcoin started to break out of this purple triangle. So we saw the breakout starting around October 8th, and since then it got to the 11,400-ish price range. Very boring. And the other thing that I've been noticing about today that I'm kind of intrigued by is before the markets opened, the Dow was up quite a bit, almost 200 points. The dollar is still very weak. So let's see what's going on here. The dollar's weak. Silver and gold are both up. So we know that's positive for Bitcoin. But the Dow is flat after being up substantially. And although the S&P and the NASDAQ opened in the green today, we're actually seeing some pressure here. So crude oil is up, which is also dollar positive, and the 10-year yield is back up to about where it was before last week. So what is this telling me? This might be a fake out, what we're seeing in Bitcoin right now. If we get closer to the end of the day, I would assume with this sort of action we're seeing in the traditional markets and the dollar, we might see a reversal where the dollar starts pumping and the Dow and S&P start to break down quite a bit. In my previous videos, I mentioned that I want to see the Dow within these two light blue lines. So that's around 28,700 and 28,300 on the Dow, and between 3,500 and 3,400 on the S&P. I just want to make it through elections with this sort of range. But I did mention in a previous video that we could see a double bottom before the election. So what I did today on my trade, I had a 10x leverage trade that I ended up closing out around 11,820. So I closed it out close to the top. I wanted to take my profits because this could be a very volatile day. When I took profits, XRP was only up about 1.4%, and then it started to pump. So because XRP is my main indicator for altcoins, I am suspecting that if XRP can continue its pump and maintain above these trend lines, the yellow and the white, I'm bullish. Maybe Bitcoin will trade sideways, but if XRP pumps, everything's going to pump. That's just the way it goes. When Bitcoin pumps, everything else can dump because of its dominance. So for people holding altcoins, XRP is very important to look at, also the stable coins. But I do want to look at XRP for just a second. Right when it broke through this descending channel around October 7th, we saw it steadily climb these dojis for like a week straight, and then boom, big negative 3% red candle, and then now we started riding down the trend line. Today, I think we're just seeing this bounce because of what Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin does not have substantial volume today, so that's why this could be a fake out and a dump tomorrow. There's just very weird to see these the traditional market indices down with the dollar really down. I mean, 0.5% on the dollar it's not pretty. I just don't understand how these can be so how the traditional markets can be so flat. It makes sense that Bitcoin's up because the precious metals are up and the dollar is weaker. So, one other thing I do want to touch on before I get back into Bitcoin is the CRO token. Woof. This shit is tanking. I mean, I've never, I haven't seen it act like this yet. It is typically on this steady momentum up and nothing, no huge pumps, no days where you just see a huge green candles. This one day you did on August 21st. That was a very volatile day for CRO. But typically we just see very nice, steadily up. Now we're seeing it break below this 1.618 Fibonacci, and man, I mean, if it breaks below this range right here around 10 cents, 10, yeah, if it breaks below 10 cents, we could come back, we could come down as low as 7 cents. So, yeah, I am pretty interested in what's going on here. I do know that they updated their app on the phone app to be a lower referral bonus. And also, I think they made their CRO token have lower rewards. Like instead of 16% or something, they brought it down to 10. So that could be the reason why they're having this sort of action, but I don't know. I mean, on the RSI on the daily, it's extremely oversold. So I'm going to wait this one out. But if I see it dump below 10 cents, I might get ready to buy some of this stuff because, wow, I mean, it's already past a 60% retracement. Could be a good buying opportunity. So I'll get back into Bitcoin and I'll just talk a little bit about my targets. So I do think that there's opportunity for a fake out. The reason being is because this top of the parallel channel is extreme resistance for whatever reason. Something's going on in Bitcoin because the volume has been so low. Yesterday, it had some of the lowest volume I've seen on the price movement for months, probably over a year actually. Some of the lowest volume. So even today, the volume's pretty low. I don't have volume on this chart because I don't really follow the volume that that Trading View shows us. But anyways, it doesn't really matter. Where we're at right now is a really good place. If we could close above 10,620, yeah, if we could close above 11,630, I'd be extremely bullish. But we could just see a huge red candle fake out. This is typical. We have it right here. Huge green candle, red candle dump. Pretty decent here. Huge red candle dump. And we're finding support every time. Steady move up. Big green candle, equivalent size dump. And then, of course, right here. Green candle testing 12K again. Dump. And then, obviously, this is just a repeat of this, creating this Bart Simpson head. It happens back here too. We have here green candle, huge dump, green candle, dump. It's just really popular right here, green candle, dump. It happens a lot, especially on a Monday, Tuesday. So market opens on a Monday, green candle, above 2%, dump next day. It's just really common. So what that means is if we see continued upside tomorrow, I want to break through this ascending, or sorry, this parallel channel around 11,900. And if it breaks through 11,900, we will start testing 12K. Or tomorrow, for whatever reason, even as early as 4 p.m. today, 3:30 p.m. today, we could start seeing a sell-off in the traditional market, which will lead to this coming down and correcting quite a bit. If we finish strong for the day in the stock market, we could pump all the way as high as this 11,880 level. And then I could see us doing that dump down tomorrow to test 11,550 as support, this thick yellow line. Right now, we're not oversold, so there's room to move up. And honestly, the target right now for the short term is to 12,500. Until we break 12,500, it's really hard to be bullish, but it just is what it is. I'm going to pull up some moving averages real quick so we can see what's going on, and bring up one other case for Bitcoin's bullish price action. So we have the yellow line, which is the 8 daily moving average, and then we have the white line, which is the 55. And we saw a cross back here, and typically whenever we see these crosses, we see a pump of 30 to 50%. Some people do it with the 20 and the 50. It doesn't, like, I mean, it does matter, but it doesn't also. It's typically the same day and a similar percentage of price movement between those two comparisons. So here I have my 13, 21, and 34. We're above all of those. We found support on the 13 back on the 16th when we saw the bigger candle, the bigger red candle, and that was showing me that we had signs of continued upside. Yeah, and then I guess, so we're doing pretty good on that. I know that we did see a bullish cross a couple days back on the XRP chart, and I think it's invalidated now. Yeah, it did this weave, and that's going to see, yeah, resistance. So yeah, we're getting resistance on the 55 daily, and if we can start closing above the 55, that's when I would get more bullish, because we're pretty much above every other moving average, but we haven't been above the 55 for too many days. What we want to see is something like this, where there's a separation between, and I think that tomorrow or sometime this week could be that day for XRP, but it really depends on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin wants to have a huge day like this on July 27th, which you guys have heard me brought up quite a bit, if we see a huge green day like this, then it will remove all the power from the rest of our altcoins, and you will probably only see Bitcoin, XRP, and Ethereum go up, because that's what happened back then. Then what will happen is when we have a correction, which what I would like to see is a pump of up to 13, and then come back down to test 12,200 as support. That's kind of like what we want right now. We want to get to a point where we get to that 13.7 level, and then if we need to come back down and test the previous yearly high of 12,300, that would be beautiful. What that will do is start to catch up all of our altcoins, and then we can start seeing some pump in our portfolio. So I'll leave it at that. My short-term outlook on this is I think it might be a fake out. I would consider taking profits if you're in any open trades, especially with high leverage. Make your money and sleep without worrying. We'll see you guys in a couple days. Hopefully, I don't need to make a video tomorrow about the death spiral correction, but we'll see what happens. Talk to you guys soon.